Hello and happy new year. I am still wearing a Christmas top, but that is because I am filming this still in December, so all my Christmas clothes are still the only thing out. But when this goes live, it's going to be 2021, so under the circumstances, I hope you had a lovely new year. Mine is literally going to be me, my mum and my dad, because we live together. And not gonna get to see my boyfriend because he is working, so that sucks, but it's fine. But I thought I would give you a haul today. Now, I just want to say, this is not just going to be books. I am including a couple of non-bookish things that I got for Christmas. This is not a Christmas present haul. This is, I did not do a book haul in November because I thought I only had a few books, but I was actually wrong on that. Oops. So this is going to be everything I acquired in November and December, including a few of the Christmas presents. So I'm going to start with Book Box Club. So I've got November's book, which was The Magpie Society, One for Sorrow by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch. I'm very excited for this. Like, I'm looking forward to getting to this. So November. And then in December's box, which is actually going to be my last Book Box Club box, unfortunately, we got two books. So we got Paris by Starlight by Robert Dinsdale. And then, like last year in the December box, they have a collection of, I think it's 10 different arcs, and they put a random arc in each box. Now, last year, I got Havenfall, which was the only arc I wanted. This year, luck was on my side again, because I got Ace of Spades by Farida Abiki Iyumidi. If I've pronounced that wrong, I apologise. So I'm very excited to get to this. This comes out in June, so I have got a while to wait, but I'm looking forward to it. Next, we're going to go with Illumicrate. So November's book was Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. It's this gorgeous edition, and I'm looking forward to reading this. December, we got two books. So first up, we got The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. And then the main book was The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. I'm looking forward to reading both of these very much, so go Illumicrate. And then finally from Illumicrate, which was not a monthly book, but I did buy the Daughter of Smoke and Bone box by Laini Taylor. And this is the absolutely stunning edition that came in that box. I am kind of speeding through these because I don't want this to be like 2 hours long. So next up, we're going to do FairyLoot. So with FairyLoot, the October box was actually delayed and we didn't get it till November, but that was Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco. Look at those detailed edges, they're amazing. I am so excited for this book, it's unreal. Next, we have the November book, which was These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Again, absolute stunning edition, and I'm very excited to read this. It's like a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in Shanghai. Then we have the December book, which is Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. I am so incredibly excited for this book. It's one of my anticipated books, which I actually thought was going to be coming out in 2021. So nice surprise, and also red shimmery edges. And then finally from FairyLoot, I did purchase their edition of How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. And this edition is just gorgeous. We have gold edges and those end papers, and I could just like look at this edition all day. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so glad I picked up a copy from the Fairy Trove. And then the final book box is LitJoy. So, story behind my October box, if you watch my vlogs, was that it got stuck in Langley in the UK for a month. Actually, it was like 35 days to be exact. But I finally got my October box in December, and the book was A Golden Fury by Samantha Cohey. Again, sorry about the pronunciation. I can't even say pronunciation. There we go, said it. So this I don't know anything about, but it is a gorgeous cover and I'm excited to give it a go. Next up we have November's Lit Joy book, which I actually got in November before the October box, and that is Soul Swift by Megan Bannon. This I am very excited for, and this cover is gorgeous. But I'm excited to see about this. This again I believe is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but with a fantasy element, and I'm here for that. And then December's Lit Joy book. I am actually quite shocked I got my December box on Christmas Eve, which is very exciting because that's the earliest I've ever received a Lit Joy box in the UK. But that is The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre by Robin Talley. This is like, the box was like called Drama Club, so it's like a contemporary, which I'm excited for because it's based around a drama club and like school theatre productions, and I loved school theatre productions when I was in school, so I'm excited. And I forgot, I also got my December Tales by mail, which was The Marvellous Land of Snurgs by Veronica Cosenteli, which this cover is gorgeous, and The House at the Edge of Magic by Amy Sparks, which again I'm very excited for. I love middle grade, so I'm excited to get to these. Next up I'm going to go through the books I bought for myself. So first up we have the standard edition of How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. I couldn't resist, and that's all I'm saying about that. Next up we have The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I did not know we was going to be getting this exact edition in our Illuma crate, so I had already pre-ordered this, so now I have two of the same, so there we go. Next up we have Lightbringer by Claire Legrand. This is the final book in the Imperium trilogy, which I have loved reading, and I'm excited and scared to dive into the final book. Next up we have another edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So there are, I believe, 6 different editions of this book. I had 5, and this was the only one I had to get. So when I, if you watched my vlog a few weeks back, when I braved finally like wearing a mask, going out to shops for the first time in months, part of my reward was buying myself this edition, because I did actually intend to look for the edition and found it. So this is the one that has Luke on the naked dust jacket, because it was the only one I didn't have. So yeah. Then also when I did that trip to Waterstones, I picked up the Places I've Cried in Public by Holly Bourne. This is the gorgeous Purple Edge edition. I do have a physical arc of this. I've read it. I absolutely loved it. And I've been dying to pick myself up a physical copy, but wanted the Edges version, so thought I would wait till I was in a store, and then obviously I didn't go to store for months, so I finally picked one up. Then I took full advantage of Waterstones Black Friday triple points thing, and most of my order was Christmas presents or pre-orders, so I can't show you everything I got in that order. The 3 books on that order that were for me that would come immediately were the 3 books in the second half of the Mistborn series. So we have the original trilogy, then we have, I think it goes The Alloy of Law, Shadow of Self, and then The Bands of Mourning, which are basically Mistborn era 2. So we have the trilogy, and then we have these 3, which are set, I think it's like 200 years later or something. So I love these. These are by Brandon Sanderson, who has become one of my favourite authors, and I'm excited. We still have the 3rd book in the first era trilogy to read, but then we can read these as well. And now for the gifted. So I'm going to go off of things I've been gifted off my wish list, and then I'll go through my Christmas gifts. So first up we have Monstrous Volume 1 by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. This is from Katie at Her Paper World. She just said, "Merry Christmas, this is the only graphic novel I own and I definitely recommend it." So I originally only put this on my wish list because I saw Brittany the Bibliophile talk about it on her channel and it sounded so good, so I checked it out, and not only does it sound amazing, but the artwork in this looks incredible. So thank you, Katie. Next up we have Kyra again, who I love to pieces, and she sent me Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. I have read these. I listened to the audiobooks on Scribd a while back, absolutely loved them, and have been dying to get my hands on physical copies of them, so thank you, Kyra. The next one is another Trisha Levenseller book. This is Warrior of the Wild, and this was gifted to me by the lovely Suzanne over at Book Marvel. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I'm so excited to read this. This was the only Trisha Levenseller book currently released that I have not read and did not own, so thank you so much. The next book is Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. This was kindly gifted to me over on the Illumicrate Club Facebook page. There was a whole wishlist gifting thread, and this was gifted to me by the lovely Anya, so thank you so much, Anya. I'm so excited to dive into this, and it's like a creepy middle grade, which, yes, I will probably save this for Halloween though. The next book was Doctor Who Adventures in Lockdown. This is by quite a few different authors, one of which is Neil Gaiman and some of the writers of Doctor Who. This was gifted to me by the lovely Helen over at Helen's Bookhaven. If you haven't checked out her channel, check it out. I love her, she's amazing, and she kindly gifted me this, so thank you, Helen. And then finally we have Of the Blood by Cameo Renee. This was kindly gifted to me by Becca over at Becca and the Books. Thank you so much for this. I love the gift note she put in this. She wrote, "Read this and tell me if it's good, please." I'm going to guess this is one that she is tempted to read, but I am really excited for this. This has a vampire prince, and that was all I needed to know. And I believe it is a self-published, so I'm excited to get to this. And then finally we have Christmas presents. So I only actually got 6 books for Christmas. I don't know if I will get any more because I haven't yet been able to see my sister and nephews, and I don't know if they got me any books off my wish list, but these are the ones that I currently have. Obviously, if I do manage to see them in January at some point, fingers crossed that we go back into like tier 1 from tier 4, but if we are lucky enough to be able to see them, we'll do gift exchange, and if there are any books I will put them in my January haul, but who knows, we'll see, that's another thing. But this is what I currently have. So the lovely Liv bought me Crave and Crush by Tracy Wolff. These are 2 of her favourite books, and she knows that I wanted to read these, so she got them for me for Christmas. And Crave, if you've seen my January TBR video, Crave is on it, so I'll be reading Crave very soon. And then she knows my love for Pride and Prejudice, and she found this absolutely stunning edition. So it has these gold edges, but what I love most about this is that embossing. I love this so much. It is a Diddy edition. I'll never read this because the writing is absolutely tiny, but to be fair, I've got quite a few editions of Pride and Prejudice that I won't actually read because they're just too darn pretty. But I like collecting different editions of Pride and Prejudice, and she knows that, and she knows me. And I knew I was getting this because she actually messaged me when she was in the store to make sure I didn't already have this edition. So thank you, Liv, for these. Also from Liv, not bookish and wasn't actually a Christmas present. As you might know, we run a readathon series called the Royal Readathon. You can find our Twitter link down below, but Liv has recently got into designing stuff again, and she designs all our logos and everything, and she got Book Besties to create dust jackets for us. And this is my one, it's green, her one is pink because they are our favourite colours, and I'm so excited that I have like a dust jacket book sleeve with our logo on. Like, this is the only one that will ever be made, and Liv will have her only one that will ever be made. So I really love this. Thank you, Liv, and thank you to Book Besties for creating them from her design. So yay. Next up for Christmas, the lovely Charlie, one of my best friends ever, did a little care package type Christmas present, and in it was Everyday Angel by Victoria Schwab. So this was the only Victoria Schwab book I didn't own. This is her middle grade series. I believe this is 3 books in one. This is the bind up of the Everyday Angel series. But I'm excited to read this because I love Victoria Shrugg's writing, both in middle grade, YA and adult, so I'm very much looking forward to this. Then my mum and dad got me a couple of books. Well, my mum got them and wrote them from her and my dad, because my dad never knows what he's got me until Christmas Day when I open it. But my mum got a couple of bits off of my wish list, and that was The Explorer by Katherine Rundell. This I've heard a lot of good reviews about, so I thought I would put it on my wish list, and she got it for me. And then she also got me this edition of Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. Neverwhere is one of my favourite books. It is so amazing. So I already have a special edition that I got a few months back for myself, and this is the edition where I like these designs. Like, a lot of Neil Gaiman's books are in this design and they kind of match, even though they're not part of the same series or anything. So I wanted this edition as well, and she got me this. She also got me the DVD, which I did not realise this was actually a TV adaptation in 1996. So she got me that on DVD as well. And then for the non-bookish stuff, these are kind of bookish, but they're not books. So my boyfriend had a little look at my non-Amazon wish list and got me 2 Grace and Honey candles, which were Better Than Waffles and Fire Breathing Bitch Queen, which obviously is Aileen. They both smell incredible. So Better Than Waffles is strawberry, peach nectar and vanilla. It's amazing. And then the other one is Smooth Honey, creamy vanilla and cinnamon spice, and they both smell incredible. And funnily enough, I actually bought these 2 candles for my friend Charlie because she wanted these as well, so we have good taste. And then the last 5 things are Funkos. You know by now, if you know me, that I love my Funkos. I have probably over 100 now. I need to do another count of them. But my mum got me, well, the ones that my mum got me, my mum and dad got me, I already actually knew about. And that was Bucky Barnes from the Avengers Infinity War series, which I don't actually want to collect all the Infinity War ones, but I wanted the Bucky Barnes one, so. And then another Infinity War one is the Iron Spider, which is the Target edition, I believe. So that's very cool. And then my boyfriend got me this amazing exclusive Darth Vader. You can't see it properly because it's in like a proper hard case, because it is an exclusive thing. So you might be able to see it a bit better now, but it is so cool. I love it. And then he also got me the Child with the Cup, which is adorable. I love this so much. And then the final Funko that he got me is one that I have wanted to get my hands on forever. It is my favourite scene from a Marvel film. So if you've seen Avengers Assemble, you'll know the scene where Hulk goes like that with Loki. Hulk smashing Loki. It's very reflective. He managed to get it, and it makes me very happy because I love this so much. Editing Becca here. I completely forgot about these 2 Funkos because when I got them from Liv, I automatically put them up on the shelf with my other Star Wars one, but Liv got me the Poe Dameron Funko, which he looks like Oscar Isaac and I am here for it. And she also got me the Rey one, which looks like Daisy Ridley, and I love them. So Liv got me these as well. So that was everything. Obviously I did get other things for Christmas, but a lot of it was like little things. One thing my mum and dad did get me in my stocking was one of those like USB lighters that you light candles with, which I have wanted one for ages because I have an actual lighter. I'm guaranteed I burn myself every time lighting a candle. So I've been wanting one for ages, and my mum's obviously got sick of hearing me go on about it because she got me one for my stocking. So love that. But yeah, I did get like other little bits and pieces as well, but I just wanted to stick with the books / bookish stuff and then Funkos. But yeah, I loved gifting people this year. Obviously after I went very overboard with gifting people for Christmas this year because you know, it's been such a rubbish year that people just needed that extra. We obviously still have a lot of presents downstairs under the tree because of my sister and nephews, so, and also my mum's best friend and her kids, like her family. So we've still got presents under the tree that are wrapped, which we've got to find somewhere to put until we see the people, because the stuff is too big and or heavy to send it in parcels. So, you know, but I hope you enjoyed this like massive haul. I have no idea how long this is gonna be because I had to keep stopping the video because I kept remembering other things that I hadn't left in my pile next to me, and I have no idea how the thumbnail's gonna work for this, so we'll see. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.